Hey there, welcome. When was the last time that you made a decision investing in yourself, your growth personally or professionally that you felt really good about? It actually moved the needle the way you wanted it to. It helps you get closer to what you wanted to achieve. I bet it felt great, didn't it? And I bet that there were some specific things that you did, maybe without even realizing it, that helped that decision go well for you. Now, let's go to the other side of that. What about a memory where you invested in yourself, your business, or something else for you and your being, and you walked away feeling disappointed? Maybe really having buyer's remorse about the money that you spent, the time, the energy that went into that you wasted your time, you wasted your money. You didn't get what you hoped for. That's what we're going to talk about today because I believe that there is a process, a strategy that we can think about, some real tips and ideas to focus in on so that when you do make an investment in yourself, you're making that investment in a way that helps you get to the end result that you want. I'm Meg Rentler. I'm the host of the Star Coach Show, and I'm delighted that you're here with us this week. We are doing our live recording for our episode. Whenever I go solo, I invite you into that recording with me. So, whether you're here live or whether you're listening to the replay of the show as it goes live next week on all of the platforms that the Star Coach Show is on, I'm delighted that you're here. And I really want to challenge you to think about the way that you make investments in yourself. Now, before we dive into the tips and strategies, let me invite you to subscribe wherever you're listening. If you're watching right now on YouTube, just hit the subscribe button. We add so much content to the YouTube channel in shorts, in tips, in strategies. You want to be sure that you're subscribed so that you never miss a moment of that. And if you're listening on any of the platforms that the Star Coach Show is on, subscribe to the show so that when we do a bonus episode, when we do extra, you always get it in your feed. I got to tell you, for some of my favorite shows that I listen to each and every week, I can't wait till they just automatically show up in my feed so I can click play and hear what my favorite hosts are bringing forward. So take a moment, subscribe, and feel free to leave a comment. We'd love to know how this content is impacting you and how it might potentially change the way that you are making some decisions for yourself. Now, investing in our development is one of the things that we do in general as coaches. Now, here at the Star Coach Show, we tend to focus on coaches and leaders. That's who we talk to, who we bring our things forward to. But I got to tell you, I hear on a regular basis from people who are not coaches, but I happen to believe that all of us are leaders one way or another who, excuse me, use the content that we bring forward in the show to really move the dial on the things that they're doing, the conversations they're having, the way that they're showing up in the world. So in today's show, I got to tell you, whatever you do in the world, however you're showing up, whether you're a coach, a leader, a parent, a community leader, whatever you're doing, you're making investments. You're making investments in your home, in your personal development, in your professional development. So we've got something for you today that is going to help you with your clarity and your confidence in those decisions. So stay tuned and let's dive into it. When it comes to making decisions, and when we think, especially when we're trusting another human being or another a process, a service provider, it's really essential to be strategic in our mindset. Now, I'm owning right here that sometimes I make emotional buying decisions. And I would say that while our emotions are important to consider, if we lose the strategy piece, if we lose the element of how are we making a good decision always around and not just an emotional buying decision, we're more likely to be happy long term with that decision. So we're going to talk about 5 strategies to create clarity when you're making these decisions. And we're going to start with, what are your objectives? What are the needs that you're trying to fulfill? Now, when I start with that, I'm going to say that depending upon where you are in your life journey, and for any of you who are coaches who are still in that journey of building out your business, building out your skills, it might be like, oh my gosh, where do I even begin with prioritizing those needs? And I am going to challenge you to clearly outline and define what are the goals that are priorities for you right now. For example, you might be very keen on building your business, increasing your income, yet let's say that your credential is going to expire within a year and you've got continuing education requirements that you've got to fulfill if you are going to renew your credential. So it might be that your focus shifts for a moment into, do I have my mentor coaching if I'm an ACC coach that's recredentialing? Do I have my 40 hours of continuing education if you're an ICF coach and you're recredentialing? That might be the shift that you need to make for that investment at that moment based upon the priority of getting your requirements for recredential. However, you might be like, what I'm doing right now, I just got my credential, or I know I've got 3 years before my next credential is due. I want to build my visibility. I want to build my credibility. And I want to do that by speaking to self, by getting in front of audience and speaking about what I do. And I need to hire a speaking coach for that. Or I really want to get visibility, and I want to learn how to really effectively use social media. Maybe I want to use um, Instagram or Facebook, or my priority is LinkedIn, and I want to hire somebody who can help me leverage that system. So, the very first step, if we're going to be strategic, is clarify your goals and prioritize those goals. Assess your needs. Does what you want, first of all, what is it that you want? And then explore, do some research, and what is it that is going to meet that need. I threw out some examples, but maybe that you want to speak to sell, you want to get in front of audiences, but you're not certain about the best way to do that. So you might need to do some exploration around, this is my need. What is the best thing that's going to align to get me to that goal? What is the program, the opportunities out there for people who I might work with? What is the thing that's going to move the needle? So that is going to require first clarifying those goals. And I get it. I know that sometimes the goals are bigger than the income, like I might have 15 priorities that all feel really important. Like, I want to build my business, and I want to keep my skills strong, and I want to keep my credential, and I want to um be out on social media and I want like I want. And that's where the work comes in narrowing down. What's the one thing that you can do to begin to move the needle? We challenge our clients to do that. You need to challenge yourself to do that. Out of all these things that I want and all these outcomes that I'm working toward, if I were to chunk it down, what's the place that I need to begin right now? Now, part of that might be I don't know. I need to work with somebody who's experienced. I need to hire a coach to help me make that decision. Well, you've narrowed down to understanding that I need somebody who's walked the path in front of me to even make this decision. I this is not a decision that I feel like I can make on my own because I'm too overwhelmed or there's too many options or I need somebody to mentor and coach me toward where do I want to invest that. So you might begin with investing in somebody who's walking that path before you. And that brings me to our second point. You really want to evaluate the experience and the credentials of those people that you're considering hiring. You've got to do your due diligence because I will tell you, there are lots and lots and lots of service providers out there doing lots and lots of different things. And they will tell you again and again, like that they're the person that you need to work with. I have a YouTube channel that I am in the time of growing. I made a decision about a team to invest with to help me grow that and do some of my social media. But that does not mean that every single day I don't get pitched by other people who think that they could do a better job with my YouTube channel. Maybe they could, but I've got to make some decisions about where am I putting my time and my energy and my focus around whether I'm going to vet other people, whether I'm going to give the team that I have some time to get their results. So the other part of kind of doing your due diligence is that you don't necessarily want to hop around. Um, Remember that wherever you are, you're undoubtedly not going to flip a switch and get all the business you want or create all the experience that you want or there is a time frame that we're all in this life and growing and expanding who we are and what we're doing. So research the background of the people that you're interested in hiring, whether you're hiring somebody is in the way of like support, like a virtual assistant or a designer or somebody to work on your social media, or whether you're hiring a coach or somebody who's going to work directly with you towards building your business or building your expertise in something or building out a program, something like that. What what are their credentials? What's their experience? How do you engage with them to get answers to your question about their track record? Are they actually doing what they're advertising that they can help you do? So, if you're hiring a coach to help you get to seven figures, is that coach to seven figures? If you are hiring somebody who wants to, help you get in front of audiences and speak, are they getting it? Are they currently or have they in the past gotten in front of audiences and spoke? So that's the whole, you really want to evaluate credentials, experience, do your due diligence, because I got to tell you, and we go back to that concept of making emotional decisions. It's easier to stay grounded when you're also being strategic about the information that you're gathering. So, are there testimonials? Are there case studies that these people can share with you in whatever line of work that they're in? If you're working with somebody to help you with your social media reach, what testimonials or evidence do they have about their ability to to do what they say they're going to do? If you're hiring a coach, what do other people who have worked with them regarding the kinds of things that you're wanting to do with them? What do they have to say? Now, those testimonials might very well be anonymous because some people don't want their name associated with, like, I worked with a coach or whatever. I think that's changing, um, but where's the evidence? And don't be shy about asking for evidence. That's your right. That's your, responsibility as a buyer. So we want to prioritize our needs and really zero in on what's the thing that we're looking for. Once we understand what the thing is that we're investing in first, because I got to tell you, I've been in my own business since 1990, and there's always a need for something that I'm doing, but I can't invest in everything all at once. So prioritize. Once I identify what the need is, then I want to begin to research and look at credentials of people who are offering the service that I'm looking for. Once I choose some people to talk to, I want to understand what their offer is and what their value proposition is. So, for me, what I've found over the years is that I work really well in programs that offer group and individual work. It's just something that, and I will say, hands down, when I started investing in my development and identifying what my need was and aligning my need with programs that were out there, that's when my business really started taking off. So, as coaches, we know that even within the competencies, embodies the coaching mindset talks about the fact that we are continually growing and developing as a coach. That's how we show up best in the partnership. If I'm a leader, what am I doing to invest in my leadership and my growth so that I can be the best leader I can be? So, all of these things that I'm talking about today really lean into how are we responsibly showing up in and realizing that none of us have met the pinnacle. We all have a continuous, I've talked to master certified coach after master certified coach who says mastery is a journey. We never reach the end. It is an ongoing process. So, once I have identified my need and begun to explore what's out there, what are people's credentials, what are they offering, and I begin to determine, here, I want to talk to this person, or I want to have a exploratory call with this person. When I'm doing that, whether it's somebody who's going to work for me through like a virtual assistant or a designer or somebody who's going to help me create something, once I determine that and I have a meeting with that person, at that time, I want to understand what is their offer, what is their value proposition. So, with that, let me look at what's the program and what's the content. What are they offering me? If it's one on one coaching, how often are we going to meet? What's their focus? Once again, I've already looked at their credentials and I know that they're able to do what they say, or they've at least done what they say. So, I want to examine the offering. Is it comprehensive? Does it create actionable tools, insights, resources for me? Is what they're offering the way that I learn the best? So, what I mean by that is if you do the best one on one with people and getting that individual time and energy, that's probably where you should invest your money versus doing maybe a program where you're one of many. Like I said, I learn well in one of many and then want to apply that one on one. So when I look to invest in myself through coaching programs, that's usually what I'm looking for. When I am investing in people to do a service for me, I need them to be self starters. I need them to have an expertise. I need them to be able to communicate clearly with me. So, those are the kinds of things that I'm looking for. And then you want to explore what's the value being given versus the cost that it is offering. Weigh that value against the cost. Is there so there's some programs that I've invested in that I thought if I hold myself accountable and actually do what they're teaching, I can make back my investment very, very quickly. Only if I'm going to actually do what they're asking me to do, right? So same kind of thing. If you're hiring somebody to help you, what is the outcome that is going to help justify the expense for that outlay? And you want to kind of look at this. What's your return on investment? Now, the other thing that I consider sometimes is, and I want you all to imagine, sometimes in your life you need like a shot of penicillin in the butt, right? Like when you're really sick and you go to the doctor, what you need at that moment is a shot of penicillin. Sometimes what we need is like a quick solution, a quick fix. There's been times that I've needed to hire somebody to help me get things like up, like a free giveaway up and ready to go because I'm going to do a interview and I want to have a giveaway immediately available. And this is before I had somebody on who did that with me on the regular. It's like who could help me do this quickly and kind of a one and done kind of thing. Often what we're looking for is the long-term treatment, right? Being able to stay healthy, stay like maybe we're on a course of antibiotics that goes on for a while. So part of that decision that you're looking at when you're looking at the offer and their value proposition is, are you needing something immediate because you've got something coming up, and are they able to do that, and is it going to be a quickie thing, or is this something that is going to require longer term? For example, in my business, there are coaches that come to me because they need, and this would be like the shot of penicillin, they need their 10 hours of mentor coaching to be able to get their certification, to get to renew their credential or to get their credential to begin with. They need those 10 hours of mentor coaching. That's where their emphasis is at the moment. I need those 10 hours. Luckily, whenever they do that, I get great results and people love that program, and it luckily ends up being more than just because they have to. However, that's sort of like that shot of penicillin. I need those 10 hours and I'm going to get them over these 3 or 4 months. Um, and that's what I'm looking for. But I also know that coaches need long term, continued growth and development of their skills and to build their business, because we can't be a secret and a success at the same time. So, the long-term treatment program, if we're kind of continuing with this analysis or this analogy, is my year-long Star Bright program. So, we work together for a year, and it is focused on both building a thriving business and keeping our skills strong, because the stronger our skills are, the more confident we are as a coach and the better results we get. So in the Starbright program, it is a longer term. It's not that shot in the butt of penicillin. I need my mentor coaching hours right now. Uh, it's a let's let's invest in your development as a coach, and by the way, get your mentor hours and get continuing education, but in a more robust full year. So that's an example of what I'm offering, but turn it around. When you're investing in yourself, is it you're looking for something that is sort of to meet a specific need, or are you looking for something that kind of helps the growth and the development over a course of time? So that's just an example of that. You'd really want to look at what the offer includes and what value it holds for you. Now, the fourth part I think is so, so, so important. Like I said, there are thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands, I don't know, of providers of different services across the globe, right? And we are definitely in a global economy. I work with people in the Philippines, or I work with people in, in England, or here in the United States. So there is all these options for who's out there providing services. And you could have somebody who gets amazing results for some people, but it just isn't a fit for you. You've got to consider when you're working with somebody the compatibility and the way that they communicate. And does that align with you, your personal values, the way that you like to show up for things? So, personal fit is incredibly important. We are human beings who connect with other human beings or don't. I mean, and there's nothing against other people if we just don't feel like we have that compatibility. I really encourage you to think about whether it's a coach that you're hiring, whether it's somebody to work with you on something, and certainly if you're partnering with somebody towards something, think about, is it a compatible working relationship? Does the way that this other person communicates and engages, is it a way that works for you? Now, I'm not saying that this person should never make you feel uncomfortable because the reality is sometimes we grow and develop with some discomfort. If I'm not challenging my clients to grow and to stretch and to expand, then I don't think I'm doing my job as a coach. So I'm not saying that you never feel maybe challenged and pushed and stretched to expand. That's part of the growth process. But what I mean is, if you just don't like the person, or you just don't feel like you're going to feel comfortable, or that you're going to like, oh, I don't want to have a meeting with this person today, then that's a problem. Especially because we've just talked about the fact that you have your choice of thousands of people to work with. So think about, is this person somebody that I enjoy working with? Is there a chemistry match for you? You know that your clients do chemistry sessions to see if you're a fit for them. Think about chemistry when it comes to people that you're hiring and investing in. Also, think about, I've talked to coaches who have come to me because they are concerned that they hired somebody whose ethics don't necessarily align with theirs. The choices they make don't feel good for the coach. That's important. So, do your due diligence up front. Think about, is this somebody I enjoy working with? Is the way they think about things and the way that they do business in alignment with what's important for me? Feel the energy together. Do you have energy together or not? And and work that into your tips, your strategies of making these decisions. So to recap before we get to number 5, we start with really getting clear about our goals and prioritizing those goals so that we understand our needs. Once we understand our needs and what it is that we're going to prioritize first, then we get into exploring what's available. What are who's out there? What are their credentials? What are their backgrounds? Who are some of the people that I'm feeling drawn to potentially having a conversation with? 3, once I have that conversation, I want to understand their offer. I want to understand their value proposition. What are they offering? What is the sort of the ins and outs of looking at how what they offer is delivered? And then as I'm listening to that, I'm also aware, how compatible is this person with me? What's our chemistry? What's our energy like? Is this somebody that I would enjoy spending time with? Is this somebody who, yes, they have the expertise that I want? And also, is it an aligned relationship that this is somebody that I'd want to work with? And then finally, we're all risk adverse to some level. We want to have some level of understanding about what is the guarantee? Now, as coaches, one of the things that our ethics say is that if a client decides that they don't want to be in a coaching relationship anymore, we don't hold them to the coaching relationship. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't have um, a business side of that as well. So, how have we laid it out in advance? What is it in the way of our own sort of money back guarantees and those kinds of things? When we engage in a conversation with somebody else, we might want to know, do you have a trial period? Do you, is there a way that I could step into this relationship with you for, a month and see how I feel about the working relationship. Now, I want to emphasize here once again that whatever you're working on probably didn't develop in a month and it probably won't get undone in a month. But are you beginning to, do you see that what you've invested in, if you do the work and you put your energy into it, that you're going to get the kinds of results that you want? Is the person that you've invested in doing what they say that they're going to do? If you have joined a program that says that you get unlimited customer support, are you getting that customer support as you need it? Not necessarily the second you pick up the phone, but in general, what is the risk assessment and guarantees that you're being offered? What do you need for peace of mind? And understand in that no matter what you invest in, no matter what you choose to do, if you are not putting in the work, then you're undoubtedly not going to get the kinds of results that you're looking for. So remember, it is a two-way street. Yes, do your due diligence. Make sure to clarify what it is that you want. What's the need that you're trying to meet? Who's out there that can help you meet that need? What is their program? What are they offering? Is there chemistry between you and them? And then have that conversation about what is the safety net, if any? What is their potential guarantee or money back guarantee? What kinds of long-term commitment are they looking for? What is your out if that's not working for you? And even as I say that, remember that none of that is going to work if you're not investing your time, your energy, your commitment into the process. I've got to say that um, many times we invest in things thinking, yeah, I'm going to do this. And then when we see the heavy lifting with it, we're like, maybe I'm not going to do this. And then I would challenge you. How important is that gap for you to fill? If you did your due diligence and you looked at it and you thought, this is the program that I need, then I challenge you to do the work that is required to, to bridge that gap. Over the course of my 30 plus years that I've been in business for myself now, when I have followed these steps, and I got to tell you, I've not always followed these steps. I have gone to webinars and been like, "Ooh, that sounds right." And even if my gut tells me maybe this isn't a great match, I want the result they're talking about. So I'm going to make this decision anyway. And then I regret it because I didn't pay attention to all five of these. The chemistry wasn't there, or I didn't really feel like this person was the best person for me to work with. On the other side of that, when I've made an investment and have gone through these steps, and I've thought about what it is that I really want to achieve, And whether this program is the program to help me in that, then I have been delighted with my results because I've put the work in. And until I started to invest in myself, truly invest in myself and my growth and my development, and determined I can't do it all by myself. There's other people who have more expertise than I do in this particular thing. Then that's when my needle really began to shift. That's when I began to grow. So I want to welcome all of you who have come to be with me live. Those of you who are listening to the recording, leave a response. Let me know, how did this resonate with you? And just be aware that we really need to consider our investments. We need to make informed decisions that align with our goals. And then we need to do the work. We need to follow through and do whatever it is that we've invested in so that we really do get that return on our investment. We move the needle. We show up in a way that allows us to bring our work into the world because you know my mantra. You can't be a secret and be a success at the same time. So, what is it that you're doing to grow your muscles, to grow your business, to be in a place to be the best coach or the best leader you can be? Because there's people counting on you. There's people who need what it is that you offer. And often that begins with investing in our own development, our own possibility. So make those decisions that count for you and do your due diligence, be strategic, and get your work into the world. We are all here to do the heavy lifting together, so be kind to yourself, be kind to others. Until next week, this is Meg Rentschler wishing you the very best for your success. Take a moment, subscribe wherever you listen. Know that I am committed to bringing you strategies, tools, and resources to help you be the best you can be. Thanks for being here. And until next week, this is Meg Rentschler. Take care.